It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to the Science Bowl, the science quiz program here in the Prince George's schools, where we bring together outstanding elementary and middle schools to see how much they know about science, and we invite you to play along. See if you can keep pace with these outstanding young people here. Today, we have Glendale versus Northview. So let's now meet that Glendale team as we start our game. And of course, our game, we are not in the studios we normally are here in our 36th year of competition. 6 categories from green things to Dateline Science. Who will get the most points today? We're about to find out. Here is that Glendale team. Would you please wave, Gavin, to all the people out there watching you. Gavin is our captain, and joining Gavin is another 5th grader, Ariella. Hey, Ariella, welcome to the Science Bowl. Looking good in that green. And Barry, nice to have you on the show, too. Hope you're excited because we're happy to have you here. All right, if you're ready, we're going to get started. We're going to go to our green things category. In each of the categories, we have a 5, a 15, and a 25-point question. Let's go to the 5-point question in green things. Here we go. A flower's stamens, S-T-A-M-E-N-S, are the source of these tiny grains, needed for plant reproduction, not so much for our eyes and noses.
Okay, so what do you guys think?
I'm not really sure, to be honest. Let's see. So its clues were stamens, and I think there were these parts on a flower that allowed it to, I think.
Keep in mind, guys, I said tiny grains needed for the plants to reproduce. They're not really necessary. We don't need them at all, especially for our eyes and noses. That was your clue.
Okay.
Correct answer there is pollen grains. Pollen, because I was referring to allergies. You know, people get pollen in their eyes and their nose and they sneeze, you know, so plants love to have pollen, but we don't. Let's try the 15-point question. Tree roots can break through rock. They're tough because the fungi they live with provide some dissolving enzymes, helping those roots to get through the rock. Because the tree and the fungus work together, so they both benefit, it is considered this kind of relationship where both parts benefit.
I'm pretty sure, wait, was it, I think it was called symbiosis?
You got it. Perfect. Symbiosis is right. You're on the board. Give yourselves a pat on the back. You're off to a great start. 15 points on the board. Ka-ching. All right, let's finish out the green things category with 25 points. 2 big words, but the answer is a simple word. Phototropism is the response of plants to light, like when they lean toward the light, phototropism. While geotropism, G-E-O, is a plant's response to this.
I'm pretty sure that it was a plant's response to gravity, because I remember from one of the videos, he said that, what is this G initial reaction to when the plant goes toward the ground? And so I'm pretty sure.
You got it, Gavin. You got it. And you had a good memory, too, because we have used questions like that before. Correct answer is gravity. You got yourselves 25 points. Super job. Let's go to the zoo. If you're a football fan, you'll know some of this. Most Tampa Bay NFL fans might not like them as much as the current Buccaneers. But some fans have pushed to have these large sea cows that live in Florida's waters as the new mascot for the Tampa Bay team.
What do you guys think?
I don't know.
A sea mascot.
A sea cow. These large sea cows that live in Florida's waters.
A sea cow.
Hmm.
I know you've heard of these before, guys. They're called manatees. Manatees. Those big, they almost look like whales. They just they don't hurt anybody, but they're out there and they're threatened. They're threatened because of pollution down there. Let's try the 15-point question. I'm going to show you a picture. This is a creature that is not lovable. It's called a lamprey, Lamprey. It looks like an eel, but it's actually an ancient fish that has no scales. Its body, though, is just covered with slime. Not a great creature to have as a pet. And these lampreys have just one of these body parts, often known as a mandible on other fish and other classes of animals. In fact, it is the one-word title of the scariest shark movie ever made.
In a minute.
I think it's the megalodon or something.
Megalodon?
It was something with a megalodon.
The scariest shark movie ever was made called the Megalodon.
Could it be Jaws?
Yes, it could be. It is Jaws. Absolutely right. Jaws is a long ago movie, but a lot of people still think about it and remember it, and that's why they don't want to go into the ocean. Yeah, so a single jaw for the lamprey. Good answer. 25 points in the zoo. You're going well. Ungulates. Ungulates. Ungulates are animals like horses, rhinos, elephants, pigs, and sheep. Ungulates are so named because all those animals have these, which in the horse's case are tended to by a blacksmith.
Oh, blacksmith? Do you have any idea how we have our shears?
No.
Some of you might know that a blacksmith puts a shoe on a horse, a horseshoe. And what is the part of the foot that the horseshoe goes on? The hoof. All of those animals have hooves. Hoofs was the right answer there. Let's go to the body system for 5 points. Your last 3 questions before we take our first break for 5 points. While COVID-19 is caused by a virus and the disease tetanus is caused by a bacteria and malaria is caused by a parasite, athlete's foot is caused by one of these. If you get athlete's foot, what is it that's growing between your toes?
I'm pretty sure it was fungi.
Yeah, I was it.
That's it. That's it. It is a fungus there among those toes and something you really don't want. Good answer. Let's go for 15 points. How many of you have ever seen, you're just kind of looking and all of a sudden something floats across your eye? It's like, what was that little thing that just went by? If you've ever seen objects floating across your eye, those floaters were formed in the vitreous jelly-like substance inside your eye, known by this H-initialed word, a word also used to explain something funny, like that person has a good sense of what?
Humor.
Humor, that's right, the vitreous humor and the aqueous humor, the two jellies in your eye. Good answer, 15 points. Pat on the back time. 25 points, let's get these 25 points. You can go to the break with a big score. Let's see how well you know your heart. Blood returns to your heart through 2 large blood vessels known as the vena cava. The one coming back from the head is the superior vena cava. The one bringing blood back from the lower body is this vena cava, a word that is the opposite of superior.
Superior?
I think that the opposite of superior is inferior.
You got it, Gavin. It is the inferior vena cava, 25 points in body systems. Nice round to the team in the great green shirts, the Glendale team. 150 points. That is a terrific start. Take a break. We'll bring you back in a couple of moments, talk to you about yourselves and your schools, and I'll give you your last 9 questions. Nice work there, Glendale. It is now time to meet that team from Northview Elementary School. Let's say hello to their captain, Raymond. Hey, Raymond, would you wave to everybody at home? Nice to have you here. He's a 5th grader, as are the other 2 members of the team. Hey, Tristan, nice to have you on the Science Bowl. I see your sash. Are you also a safety patrol? Wonderful. Good, yes, responsible position there. And Angelo, nice to have you with us too. Another great 5th grader. I like that school lab setting that you have. All right, gentlemen, if you are ready, we have 9 questions for you to start out. 3 from Green Things, 3 from Zoo Parade, 3 from Body Systems that will give you a break. Let's go to the Green Things. Here we go for 5 points. Manatees in Florida are starving since the seagrass they eat is dying. The reason? Surface pollutants and algae won't let enough light reach the sea floor for this seagrass food-making process to take place. What is that plant food-making process known as that requires light?
Photosynthesis?
Yeah, that's definitely
photosynthesis.
It is photosynthesis. Good, 5 points. Nice start. Let's go to 15 points. 2-part answer. A certain fast food chicken restaurant claims that its chicken coating contains 11 of these plant-based flavorers, some made from leaves and some from other parts of the plant. What are the things that we season food with that they also use at chicken restaurants to make that chicken taste so good? 2 plant-based flavorers. Some made from leaves, some from other parts of the plants.
Herbs?
Herbs is one. Give me the other one.
Spices.
You got it. Herbs and spices both. Perfect. Yes, spices don't come from leaves. Herbs always do. Good answer. 25 points. Let's get the big one. If you're starting plants from seed, if you're going to put a garden in this year, maybe you're going to start them inside with just a little bit of soil. If you're starting plants from seed, one of the best ways to keep the young seedlings from being attacked by soil parasites is to do this S-initialed procedure, which will kill off all parasites and bacteria. It is the same procedure done in laboratories like you're sitting to kill all the bacteria on glassware, and also by moms and dads to get rid of all the bacteria on babies' glass bottles. What is that S-initial process called?
If it's S initial, I mean, it's used a lot, so I think that, well, do you guys have any idea?
That's a tough question. That's a tough question. If you kill everything, you have sterilized it. It's called sterilization. You sterilize glassware, you sterilize bottles, and that's the only way to make sure you get rid of all of the parasites. All right, let's go to the zoo. Let's go to the zoo. How many of you have seen the movie Jurassic World? Have you seen that one ever in that series? Well, when asked what became of the second Indominus Rex dinosaur in Jurassic World, the scientist replied, the first one ate it. An example of this C-initial kind of behavior.
Carnivore.
Cannibalism?
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism?
It is cannibalism, absolutely right. Yeah, charming animals for 15 points in a zoo. Because this substance is so much lighter than bone, it makes up the skeleton of a shark, letting it swim without using up too much energy. A shark skeleton is made not of bone, but of this substance that is lighter than bone.
Is it muscle?
Wait, what's your finger made of? Your fingernail. Keratin.
Yeah, keratin.
I think it's keratin.
Okay, Raymond, what you got? What's the consensus answer there?
Well, we're going to go with keratin.
Keratin is a reasonable answer. It's actually called cartilage. Cartilage, the same substance that makes up your ear and the bridge of your nose. It's much lighter, so that's what all of the fish that belong to the same group as sharks, like rays, have cartilaginous skeletons. All right, 25 points. I want to show you a picture. Let's have a look. See that bat? See that moth? Bats can home in on a tiny mosquito or a moth in total darkness by means of high-pitched screeches that bounce off the insect. This method is known by what initialed term?
Echolocation.
It is echolocation. That's the way to do it, guys. Pat on the back. 25 points. Super job. 3 more questions for you. Let's go to the body. In order to sound the best that they can, actors, preachers, and students, like you, about to give a report, will often clear their what before they speak?
Throat.
They clear their throat, that's right. You gargle and you do whatever you have to do to make sure your throat is clear before you speak. Good, 5 points. All right, 15 points in the body. In anatomy class, if you hope to be a doctor someday, you'll have to take an anatomy class. Oftentimes they give you a cadaver, someone who's donated their body to science. In anatomy class, doctors refer to the area near the head as the anterior part of the body, while the parts farther back, including your rear end, go by this P-initialed term, opposite of anterior.
Interior.
It has to begin with a P. The opposite of anterior is posterior. Posterior. You know, you sit on your posterior, your backside. Let's get the last question in this first round, the 25-pointer. I know you can do it. This is kind of disgusting. Hard as it may be to believe, some health spas now let snails crawl across a person's face, leaving a trail of slime, which it turns out is good for fading age spots and adding water to your skin, a process known by what H-initialed name. If you were adding water, what H-initialed term describes that?
Hydrating.
You got it. It is hydrating. Yes, the opposite, of course, is dehydrating. So hydrating gets you 25 points. Nice work, guys. All right, you're at 130 points. That's a super start. You should feel proud of yourselves. Take a little break. I'll bring you back. We'll talk to you about yourself and your schools, and I'll give you your last 9 questions. Keep up the good work. All right, it's now time to welcome back that team from Glendale and to talk to them about themselves and their school. And let's start with their captain, Gavin. And Gavin, tell everybody why you wanted to be on the Science Bowl.
Well, to be honest, I think that the Science Bowl, I don't really know. But to be honest, I think that it was a good idea because I've learned so much to be able to get here. And then I'm also able to participate in something that not many students get to experience.
Boy, you speak so well. And all that preparation is paying off because you're doing a terrific job here. I see you're a safety patrol. You've got your badge and your sash on there. Obviously a responsible young guy. Tell us, what are you thinking about it for a future? Have you thought about it yet? You're such a young guy.
Well, I really like both robotics and architecture, so I'm thinking that maybe I could become either architect or a robotics engineer.
Wow.
Because,
Go ahead. Keep going.
I just really like building, and I also know a lot about robots, and I just figured that pretty much.
Well, that whatever you choose, I have a feeling you're going to be successful at. You've got a discipline about yourself. You have a passion for what you do, and you're obviously a good math student too. If you're going to go into robotics and architecture, keep up your good work in the second half here. Let's talk to your teammates. Let's go to Ariella. Ariella, nice to have you on the show. How do you know so much science? By the way, I like your Mickey Mouse mask too.
Thank you.
welcome.
I know much science because I learned some in class and I learned some from my mother. She
Oh, your mom,
she got a bachelor award in chemistry.
Wow, so you've got a great science teacher at home, you've got a great science teacher at school, so with both of those sources there, it's obvious that you've done well. But you put all the effort in yourself too, and you're playing a nice game here. What would you like to do someday? Have you thought about that?
Fashion designer.
Fashion designer, yeah. Well, you look very stylish today too, so I can see you just carrying on with that as you get older. Good luck in the second half here. Nice to have you here. You're welcome. And let's talk to Barry. Hey, Barry, tell us about your motivation for being here. Did someone recruit you, or did you say, hey, I want to do this?
Someone actually recruited me. I actually really enjoy being here because it's really fun and we get to learn new stuff.
Well, that's great. And I hope what's nice about this is, yes, you're learning new stuff, and then you're also letting people at home know how much you know already, because it is a way to demonstrate all the good study habits that you have already used for many, many years. Let me ask you what I asked your teammates there. What would you like to do someday? Adults like to ask kids that, but there's so many opportunities. Have you thought about that?
I want to be a computer engineer someday. I really like playing on my mom's computer, and I really like fixing stuff with my dad too.
Wow. So that you've got a curious mind, you have curiosity about the world, and if you're trying to figure out how things work, that just gives you some power. It gives you some power over the world, and I wish you a lot of luck in that and in the second half here. Nice to have you here today. All right. Glendale, time for your last 9 questions. Keep up your good work. Let's go to the Let's Get Physical category. 3 questions for you. The first one is a multiple choice. When you hold an ice cube in your hand gets cold because the ice is very good at absorbing, reflecting, or stopping the heat in your hand.
What do you think?
The ice is very good at absorbing heat, reflecting heat, or stopping the heat in your hand.
To be honest, I'm kind of thinking that it reflects heat.
Too.
Yeah,
Me too.
Because if it reflects the heat, then it's able to push it away, and then it's able to make your hand cold or something like that. That's probably the best I could come up with.
Okay, is that going to be your answer then, Gavin?
Yes, reflecting.
Okay, sometimes you've got to think this thing through. Actually, it is the first one, the absorbing. It absorbs the heat from the ice cube itself, and that's what makes that hand of yours cold, and that's why the ice cube starts to melt. Try this next one for 15 points. The explosion of an underwater volcano in the Pacific Ocean created sonic booms as far away as Alaska, as well as these dangers to coastal areas where waves were much higher than normal.
Wait a minute.
What are these dangerous things if you live along the coast when the waves are much higher than normal that can often be spurred by an underwater volcano?
I think it's a tsunami.
Yeah, I know this one.
I think it's tsunami.
Yeah, it's a tsunami.
Yeah, it is tsunami. Thank you for your sister. I think that was Barry mentioning that. It is a tsunami. So you got yourself 15 points there. Good. Let's go for 25. In physics, the letter T, used when measuring the strength of magnetism, is named for this American electrical engineer whose full name appears on the electric cars built by Elon Musk?
It's Tesla.
Yeah, I'm pretty
Tesla.
sure it was Tesla because that's the name of the brand.
And
You
what-
got it. It is correct. You got it. It is Tesla. Nikola Tesla was his full name. That got you 25 points. That's a super answer there. Nice going, guys. Let's go to potpourri for 5 points. The first letter of the Greek alphabet was used to designate the first COVID variant and is typically used to name the dominant animal in a group, like the top wolf in a wolf pack.
The top
Oh.
wolf is
It's the alpha.
alpha.
It's definitely the alpha. I've heard of the alpha wolf,
The alpha wolf.
so the answer is an alpha.
Yeah, but he's asking about a letter.
So, Gavin, what you think?
I think that the answer is alpha.
It is alpha. Alpha is the first letter in the Greek alphabet. Alpha, beta, gamma. You go right down the list there. All right, good. 5 more points. Let's go to 15 points. If you know the identity of Pisces, Pisces, one of the signs of the zodiac, you'll know that piscivorous animals, like pelicans, feed almost entirely on what?
So Pisces are like 2 fishes. So I think it might be like fish.
Yeah, me too.
Fish.
You got it. You got it. As you said, Pisces area, 2 fishes there, and fish, piscivorous means a fish-eating animal like a pelican. Perfect. 25 points in potpourri. Let's get this one too. Cows, like goats, sheep, and animals, are ruminants, meaning they chew a cud. You know, they eat food, they bring it back up, they chew it again, they keep trying to break it down more and more. That breaks down the cellulose when they're chewing it in the grass, and it turns it into this kind of body-building nutrient. The cows and those other animals, other ruminants, they chew a cud, breaking down the cellulose in the grass they eat, and turn it into this kind of body-building nutrient.
Body-building nutrient. What do you guys think?
So the nutrients are there's protein.
There's protein shakes and stuff like that. What else? So we
All right.
only have protein.
Gavin, what you got?
We don't really have a straightforward answer, but the one that we have is protein.
Protein is the right answer. Absolutely right. So even if you're a vegetarian, you need protein, and you can get it if you're a cow by eating grass. Perfect. Perfect. 3 more questions for you. Let's go to Dateline for 5 points, and I have a picture for you. You know, there are animals that are endangered species. The District of Columbia's only endangered species is this, the Hayes spring amphipod, a stream-dwelling creature that, like crabs and shrimp, belong to this C-initialed group of animals. C as in cat. Like crabs and shrimps, this stream-dwelling creature belongs to what C-initial group of animals?
What do you guys think? He said this in videos, but I don't remember. He said cow something.
Oh wait, he said along with
Crabs and shrimp,
shrimp.
they're in the same group.
Crabs and
this
shrimp.
C initial category of sea animals, I think.
No, nothing.
Just the
Cow.
I know you guys you're kind of dancing around it. They are crustaceans. Crustaceans is the C initial term I was looking for there. Let's try the 15-point question. You probably read about this. This was amazing. Recently, a heart from a pig was successfully transplanted into a human being for the first time. The only reason it stayed that the body accepted it was because it had been altered genetically so that what human body system would not reject it?
Because it might be circulatory.
The circulatory system, it works because it's the heart is in that category. So if it didn't have that right fitting, then the circulatory system will reject it. So probably
I love to listen to your reasoning, Gavin, because you're taking all the parts of that. But one of the reasons that it's difficult to put an organ in someone else's body if it's not your own is because it's rejected by the immune system. You know, your immune system will attack it. It'll send antibodies and white blood cells. So by genetically altering that pig heart, it stopped the immune system from coming out. Let's get this last question of the game. Here we go. Well, Mae Jemison was the first African-American female astronaut traveling to the Space Shuttle Endeavour in 1992. Jessica Watkins will be the first African-American female astronaut to work on the ISS when she arrives there very shortly. The ISS is the acronym for what space object?
Wait, I know this one.
Okay.
It's the International Space Station.
You got it. You knew that one cold. 25 points. That's the way to end this game. Super job there, Glendale. 260 points. That's amazing. That is amazing, Glendale. Let's see if that's going to be enough to get you into the semifinals. Again, one more wonderful pat on your back for really good playing here today. We'll see you in a couple minutes. It is now time to welcome back that team from Northview Elementary School. Let's meet these young fellas who are playing this game so well. Let's start with the captain, Raymond. Hey, Raymond, tell us why you wanted to be on the Science Bowl. What was your motivation?
Well, I guess it was to make my parents proud.
That's a wonderful thing. And you know, you don't have to do this to make your parents proud. They're proud of you just because you are who you are, and you're just obviously a wonderful young man. Tell us about that shirt, you know, with the atomic model. Who got those for you?
Yes, my principal, Mr. Simmons.
Wow, Mr. Simmons, yes, and he's been a longtime supporter of Science Bowl here, and we wish him well. I hope he's with us, and we'll be able to see him in a few moments. Tell me about your future. Have you thought about a career yet, Raymond?
Yes, I would like to be a U.S. Senator.
Wow. And if you could be a U.S. Senator, what would you do? What would be your priority? If you had a magic wand and you could wave it, what would you do to make a difference?
Well, I would try to convert Maryland to solar and more renewable and clean sources of energy.
Wow, that's a remarkable vision, because you know that would mean the planet would be much safer. And you know, for your generation, the one after, you know, we wouldn't have so many problems with pollution and running out of energy sources. Wonderful. Nice to have you here, young man. Keep up your good work. Let's talk to Angelo. Hey, Angelo, nice to have you on the show. Tell us a little bit about how you prepared for the Science Bowl. What did you guys do to get ready?
We practiced after school by watching videos for practice and going over root words.
Yeah, that's great. That's a good way to prepare. You know, those Latin and Greek root words, prefixes and suffixes, they come into play so much on the Science Bowl and in so many of the words that we use in life here. Tell me about yourself. What do you like to do in your spare time?
In my spare time, I like to watch YouTube and play on my Nintendo Switch.
Terrific, yeah. How about the future? What do you see yourself doing when you get out of school, when you grow up? Have you given much thought to that yet?
Well, I would like to work at NASA as an engineer.
Wow, well, to be lucky to get you. Keep up your good work here, your discipline and your love of science, and that'll be a great career for you. Nice to have you here. Let's talk to your other teammate, Tristan. Tristan, nice to have you with us today. Tell us about your, you took your sash up, but I know you're a safety patrol. Where is your station at Northview? What do you do?
Well,
I first usually just come outside or I just come down a hallway where most buses line up, and I just wait for people to come out, and usually aftercare would come out first. And what I do, I just take aftercare down to their little room where they would go to get to their aftercare.
Well, that's great. I mean, that's a responsible position. I remember when I was one too, and you feel like you're on duty, and you have to be kind of a role model there. What would you like to do someday? Would you like to be a leader of something?
I actually have a few ideas because my whole life I've been at different points. I've been thinking about, I've always been about history, about around World War II, 1939 to 1945. And so I'm thinking maybe a historian or a actual commercial airline pilot.
Wow, that's tremendous. Well, they're looking for pilots right now. You're a little too young to qualify, but keep up, your good work here, and you will certainly be in charge of a lot of people if you're in that cockpit. But as a historian, you could probably do both of those things. I admire your interest and your curiosity, young man. Keep up your good work here. All right, Northview, it is time for your last 9 questions. If you all set, guys, let's go to Let's Get Physical for 5 points. Here we go. The boom created when a recent underwater volcano exploded, a boom heard as far away as Alaska, occurred because this barrier had been broken. What barrier is broken that causes that boom?
The sound barrier.
Sound barrier, absolutely right, for 5 points. Good start to the second half. Let's keep it going. 15 points. Newer sunscreens will soon contain tiny bits of the metal gold, which can do a better job at doing this than the metals zinc and titanium that have long been in sunscreens. The metal gold will be able to do what? A better job at doing this.
Protecting your skin.
I heard protect your skin, but remember the category, let's get physical. Protect your skin by doing what? Why
reflecting
is
the
gold?
sun.
Reflecting heat.
Reflecting the sun.
Absolutely right. It reflects the sun better than zinc and titanium. Gold is better at that. Good answer. 25 points, the big one in this category. Gabriel Fahrenheit first created a thermometer filled with alcohol. Then later, a thermometer was filled with this chemical element, the only metal that is naturally liquid.
Gallium?
Not gallium, that's a good try. Mercury. Mercury. Thermometers always used to be filled with mercury, and when people would break them in that mercury is toxic, so that's why they're trying to find, they put alcohol in instead of mercury. All right, let's go to potpourri. How many of you have ever read or heard about the book, The Very Hungry Caterpillar? Yeah? Author Eric Carle, who wrote The Very Hungry Caterpillar, also wrote a book about a mixed up one of these reptiles who wasn't content with being able to change colors with his changing moods, but wanted to change into different animals at the zoo that he admired.
A chameleon?
A chameleon, that's right. Yes, indeed, the chameleon. Yeah, he wanted to have it all. Potpourri for 15 points. We're still in COVID. We're still talking about masks. The gold standard mask for protecting yourself from COVID-19 is the familiar N95, the white one that goes all over your face. The N in N95 means the mask keeps out particles that are not oil-based. And the 95 means it is almost perfect at keeping out airborne particles, meaning it is 95% what? Since it's able to keep out 95%, we say it is 95% what?
Do you guys think it maybe 95% protective or something?
Give me a synonym
like
for
that?
protective. Give me a synonym for protective. Yes. A word that means the same thing. We will give that to you. We will give you to that because protective is close enough. Effective. Effective or efficient. But protective is good enough. We will give you the points according to the judges here. All right, let's do the 25-point questions in potpourri. Here we go. Lots of these parts of a science investigation have been offered to explain why zebras have stripes. Why do they have stripes? Some people say it confuses predators like lions. Others say it helps them keep cool. And still others think it serves to keep away biting flies. None of them are proven, and thus all of them are these, a step in the scientific investigation. Those are hypotheses. A hypothesis is a guess. So those are the three of the many different guesses they have. They have yet to prove exactly why zebras have stripes. Let's go to Dateline for 5 points. Zoologists are rewilding these largest of the carnivorous marsupials. And a favorite on Warner Brothers cartoons, they want to rewild these marsupials back to mainland Australia where they disappeared years ago due to hunting and habitat loss. The largest of the carnivorous marsupials, a favorite on Warner Brothers cartoons.
It's a lion.
I know you know him. They call him Taz, the Tasmanian devil, the largest of the carnivorous marsupials. Yeah, because they have disappeared on Australia. They're only on the island of Tasmania, so they're trying to take them back, to rewild them onto Australia and see if they can start to reestablish their old population area. All right, Dateline for 15 points is a visual. Let's look at the picture, guys. When Richard Leakey, who you're looking at right now, found the skeleton of a 12-year-old boy in Africa that was over 1.6 million years old, it was the highlight of his career as what kind of scientist? If you're finding skeletons, human remains.
Paleontologist?
It is a paleontologist, yes indeed, for 15 points. We also would have accepted archaeologists, but the Leakeys are paleontologists. Good answer. Last question of the game, 25-pointer, let's get it. At an auction house recently, over $3 million was paid for an autographed copy of Albert Einstein's notes written during his development of the famous formula E equals mc squared, the so-called theory of general what?
Relativity?
It is relativity, absolutely right, for 25 points. I didn't think you were going to you pulled it out of the hat, just what we wanted. Good answer. All right, you end the game with 210 points, Northview. A commendable job here today. Nice playing. Nice to have you here today, guys. Well, what a game it was, and it is a high-scoring game, and that tells you the kinds of skill that these young people had. Not only were they great scientists, they're great sportsmen, you know, and good sportsmanship is as good as winning any game, and I loved how they played. Personally, I enjoyed the interviews with these young people as much as I did their answers. We are all in good hands. They're all going to make us proud, prouder than we are already. Our final tally today is Northview 210, Glendale 260. So congratulations, Glendale. We're going to see you in the next round. Congratulations to Northview on an excellent job, as you always do when you're here on the Science Bowl. Let's have a nice round of applause. Even though we can't hear each other, clap for everybody, because this was a great edition of the Science Bowl. And we hope you enjoyed the program as well, and invite you to join us next time for another edition of Science Bowl. See how many of the questions you can answer. Till then, I'm Dave Zarin. Bye-bye.